What's the difference between the Axiom 105 stiff with Velocore tip technology and the steel shaft Modus 3 also 105 stiff? So I'm going to set the pin at 180. I'm using the Srixon ZX7 Mark II 7-iron. I can keep the same head and just change the shaft, which is very good for this test. I've got this head in -2, so 2 degrees flat, which just throws the toe a little bit lower. I tend to hit the ball left, so it'll just help me hold the ball out to the right-hand side that little bit more. And for me, I just like the way it sits on the ground. I've got a Srixon Z-Star Diamond, and I'm just going to open up with a few Axioms. Just to loosen up. That's a nice first shot with a little draw coming into the pin. Nice. So one of the things I'm going to be looking at is the height that the ball gets from each shaft, the sort of spin rates and launch angles that we get in comparison to each other, and also to see if we get any directional difference. Oh, I came out of that one a little bit high and right, but I'm still on the green. One of the benefits that we see with the Velocore technology in a driver shaft is that there's less twist at this bottom end of the golf club. So when we hit the ball off center, we don't get as much deflection and we don't lose as much direction and ball speed. So we maintain the off center hit a bit better, in theory. But they're all flying fairly nicely, all hitting the green, apart from that one. Commentator's curse. Let's get a few shots with the Modus 3, and then I'll flick back to this, back to the Modus 3, and see what the numbers look like compared to each other. Similar sort of flight, similar sort of pattern, on the green in a very similar fashion from what I can see. So after we get a nice group of data, we'll see the general differences between them. Caught those two a little bit heavy, so I've caught the ground that little bit early, which could be to do with how the club toes down. So the shaft bends and then it releases into the ball. If this tip section is a bit softer, it might bend and release down a bit more, so the head might reach a lower point. If I were to have these in my clubs in the bag, I would kind of adjust after I'd had them for a while. But when I flip from one shaft to another, there is an instant change in how low that club gets. That wasn't the best swing. Little push. So I've had a bit of an overdraw, a bit of a push. Not bad on the old carry. And I've had to wear shorts today because it is quite warm outside. And in the UK, we are not used to it getting that warm. Ooh, sit down. That's gone further. I'm gonna get a glove on for the last few shots because I am getting a little bit sweaty. Lovely. Oh, that's way better grip. And just at the back left of the green. I have to say, this Axiom does feel absolutely solid. And I did have another video where I put one in my 4-iron. I've also put one in my driving iron as well, 2-iron. And I kind of like it. Nice, straight at the pin. Get in the hole. Yeah, pushed it. 2 more shots with the Modus 3, and then we'll look at the difference in data. I feel like the 105 is slightly faster through the ball. I'm getting some spikes up in yardage, and I dare to say I'm getting a bit more spread in left to right. Good, solid hit. Nice little draw. Back left to the green again. Oosh. My normal 7-irons are 120 stiff, so slightly heavier, and the normal yardage I hit with it is 177. However, I do think that has got a bit further up because I've got faster because I've been working with Kyle in the gym. So I think that number's a little bit wrong, and I need to recheck my yardages. I've got the Modus 105 on this bottom one here, slightly faster, same launch angle between the two. I've got slightly less spin with the 105, so I've got a bit more spin with the Axiom. I've gone slightly more right with the Axiom, so there's less release in the club, so it holds the face that little bit more open, so it is to the right hand side on average. And I've got a little bit more distance, possibly because I'm a little bit faster with the 105 Modus. But the Axiom, although not longer, it's slightly tighter in dispersion. We've got 3 yards of variance against 5 yards of variance on those numbers. And the main thing I'm looking at here is this top bit. So the Axiom is much tighter dispersion. The 105's got a bigger spread for me there, because I think that tip technology in the Axiom just keeps it a little bit more stable. It doesn't vary as much. The 105 Modus has got a little bit more play in terms of torque. Interestingly as well, on the peak heights, I've got 111 feet and 111 feet, so they're reaching the same height with both shafts. I thought that might differ a little bit if I'm honest, but the peak height is only varying 6 yards with the Axiom, and then we go down to 8 yards of variance with the 105, so it changes a bit more. All in all, the Axiom is a very good bit of kit. With that more stable tip technology, we're getting a bit less dispersion compared to the 105, but these Axiom shafts are a lovely bit of kit. They're not cheap though. They do set you back about £115 in the UK. I don't know what that is in US dollars, but they are quite an upcharge per shaft. If you like something shiny and different, I wouldn't hesitate to go and get it. I'd certainly encourage you to try them out if you can, or consider them. Maybe even try it in your longest iron to start with to see how you get on, because it's nice and stable.